What we are going to do next is look at sketching versus outlines, and also how to structure our drawings using shapes. So I have a reference, and what I'm going to be drawing now is Pikachu. So we are going to start off with a big rectangle, and this is going to represent Pikachu's body and his head, because in the original anime his head is roughly the same size as his body. So what I'm doing now is mapping out his head versus his body and adding a little bit more shape. What I'm going to do now is map out his little feet, vague rectangle type shapes, his ears, another rectangle, and then his tail, I'm just gonna do a shape, do like a sort of square coming out of that. Okay, in the pose that I've got him in my reference, he's also got his little arms out. So we'll give Pikachu some arms. And then because the face is important, I'm just gonna map out roughly where his eyes will go. His little Pikachu mouth, and then his little red spots on his face. So as you can see here, we have a very basic sketchy version of this Pikachu thing that I'm going to end up drawing. So what I'm going to do now is go in with the outlining, and this takes a brave and a steady hand to get right, but we are just going to start. So I've got an ear and another ear, and then he's got these little black things here, but that's a Mandela effect, just by the way. Some people say it wasn't there in the original anime. So now I'm going to give his face a little bit more shape here as I draw. Next I'm going to draw his little arms, and he has a thumb and he has 5 fingers. Fabulous. Now I'm going to add his body, going down to his feet. Okay, those look terrible. Those don't look like Pikachu toes. That's why I have my eraser. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Not great though, but so don't be afraid to erase, because nothing in your drawing is permanent. Okay, so now we have an outline, and I've realized that I've put his little tail behind this arm. I don't want that. I'm going to extend it up. So we're just going to see the top part of his tail behind him there. And now we're going to add his little face. He's making this cute little open mouth expression. It's very sweet. Okay, so now we have a sketchy planning for our Pikachu. He's looking rather ugly, but it's fine. And now if you wanted to, you could shade him. So keep in mind that his body is round. So a lot of the shading around his belly here would be rounded. His feet would be more in shadow because they are technically underneath his body. I made them way too big, but I don't care. You can make the parts of him that are black by doing that quite easily. So when you're doing coloring like this, or flat black shading, having a blunter pencil will help. This is where it helps to keep a more steady hand. So as you can see there, I felt my finger go into that black part of his ear, and I really didn't want to smudge. So you can just move it around. Okay, it's not my best work, but it's pretty good. We're gonna make his little cheek spots a medium gray, because if we converted the color drawing I used as a reference into grayscale, they would be a sort of medium gray there. Okay, there's different arguments about the tip of Pikachu's tail. I'm sorry guys, this turned into a drawing tutorial. I mean, this started out as a drawing tutorial, now it's just me ranting about the Mandela effect in Pokemon. But if this doesn't tell you what kind of person I am, I don't know what will. So there's some arguments as to whether the tip of Pikachu's tail is actually black, but again, that's a cool Mandela effect thing to research if you guys are keen. So yeah, he's also got a little shadow under his chin here, because obviously his head is now we're gonna add this part in his mouth a bit darker. And his tongue can be shaded very lightly grey because it's actually a very light pink. Okay, I think I'm going to stop that there. So this is my very incomplete ugly Pikachu, but what you can see is the process. So you can see, especially here, the lines that I used to plan and then ended up ignoring, especially here with this arm, and I moved the tail, and then we've got the stark outline. It gives an impact to the cartoonish effect, excuse me, and then the shading, which I've done, and I've left it quite messy and loose, just so you guys can see that this is a drawing and it is meant to look like a drawing. If you wanted your drawing to look exactly like the anime, you could trace it, you could draw it digitally and stuff, but this is something that I made that came from a blank page, as you guys saw. And that is what I want to encourage you guys to do, is to look at a reference and draw it from your brain, because the connection from your eyes through your body onto the paper is super important, and there's a level of processing there which builds a whole lot of skills, which will be really important for you guys later on in your art career, or even just later on in life. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next tutorial.